Okay. Please ignore the heat pack on my neck and the fact that I look like a fucking homeless person. So this is going to be the first serious video that I've done in about 5 months. I don't know why I'm still wearing these headphones, but I'm not listening to anything. So this is going to be my first serious video in about 5 months. And much to my usual style, you're probably going to be offended and hate me. But, awkward segue, that's kind of the point of this video. So I'm going to start off by talking about science stuff. So if you're offended by this, or in any way anti-vaccination or anti-GMO, then just please kill yourself, regardless of what I said at the start of this sentence. Just do us all a favour and remove yourself from the gene pool. The Boy in a Plastic Bubble was a TV film which you've probably heard of, which is why my train of thought started at this station, based around the life of David Vetter, or Bubble Boy as he was affectionately known, who suffered from severe immunodeficiency. Is that right? No, severe combined immunodeficiency, or SCID. The Boy in a Plastic Bubble was a TV film which you've probably heard of, which is why my train of thought started here, made in the mid-1970s about the life of David Vetter, or Bubble Boy, as he was affectionately known. He suffered from severe combined immunodeficiency, or SCID, meaning that coming into contact with unfiltered air could kill him because of his intensively lacking immune system, which eventually led to his death at the age of 12, after a successful but ultimately fatal bone marrow biopsy from his sister. Coined after his name from the 1970s to the 1990s, the bubble effect started to happen, where parents would sterilise everything around their newborn children. This mega ultra super spray kills 99.9% of bacteria, and probably your child? Basically, these parents started to notice that whenever their children went outside, they would become dangerously ill from things as simple as the common cold, because it turns out we are supposed to get ill at a young age because that helps us build up our immune system, which mine is doing a fucking bang-up job right now, as you can probably tell from the heat pack and the fucking voice. This brings me almost onto the actual point of my video, which is that we need to come into contact with bacteria and viruses so that we can build an immunity to them. So why is that any different in a social construct? Recently I've started to notice a trend, whereas we are told by social media that we need to change the way we talk and act around people so as to protect their sensibilities. I have 2 examples. I was working at my job, where I work and do work-based things, where I was told by an individual who will remain unnamed because they probably thought the comment was innocuous, and I work in a bar and alcohol tends to, affect people's judgment. Anyway, I was told that I must have a very easy, sheltered and privileged life because I am a white, cis, straight male. Now, whilst I was quite offended at the time, I didn't say anything because the group that this person was with were, shall we say, all in the same boat. And because I was at work and customer service is a thing. So, as a quick little niggle, why is it okay to have such a broad, sweeping, shit-stained brush painted over the canvas of my life, but I would be hounded in the streets and probably lose my job for a similar rebuttal? My second quibble revolves around Pokemon Go, which I definitely don't have because it's not out in the UK yet, but I am really good on it. Suck on D's nuts. Namely, I was sat at a Wetherspoons next to a dad and his young son, and his son was on his phone, and his dad noticed that I definitely wasn't playing Pokemon Go because it's not out yet, and made some minor casual friendly comment about how addictive it is. Then I took the gym next to the Wetherspoons, and the boy started to cry because the Pokemon of the gym was his Pokemon. And my Pokemon was much more powerful than any of his. God, I am such a fucking nerd. His dad then proceeded to berate me for making his child cry. And now to the actual point. Fucking get over it. This social bubble of sensibilities that we are not only forcing on ourselves, but forcing the people around us into, is directly detrimental not only to our health, but to our evolution as a communicative species. If everything I say or do has to be checked and edited because somebody might be offended, then what's going to happen when somebody who gives even less of a shit about your sensibilities than me comes along? As for the dad of that kid, we were playing a game based on essentially illegal dogfighting, made more illegal by the fact that the app's not actually out in England and I don't have it yet, but he did. Nintendo sue him. And the game is based on confrontation, and guess what? So is life. So if you teach your kid that it's alright for him to cry because that means that I have to make it up to him, what are you going to do when he cries and gets rejected for a job? Because he will. What about if he gets rejected for his first choice of university? Or what happens if he gets rejected by a girl? and goes on about the friend zone and cries about that, and then starts talking about how women are bitches, and then the girl that he did fancy ends up becoming like a major feminazi and hates all men because this one kid decided that it was her fault that she didn't like him, when it's perfectly natural to not like creepy, weird people who cry whenever they don't get their own fucking way. He's going to develop either the shittiest personality and have no friends of worth, or a life-crippling psychosis. In summary, if you live in a bubble your whole life, you're going to get killed by the common cold. If you live in a social bubble your whole life, where no one can talk about anything to you in case you get triggered, then, and I just hit the microphone, then you and you alone are going to be solely responsible for your misery. And I hate to say it, but fucking man up.